All right. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me here on this course. This is the Genius SEO Beginner's Course, how to drive free traffic to your website from Google. Okay. What we're going to learn here today is pretty much how exactly can you set your website up in a way where Google search engine puts you on the first page. That way you have massive exposure to people who are searching for the products and services that you provide. Okay, and this course is going to be a beginner's course. There's a lot of layers to SEO, but I wanted to start with creating a course that was for everybody. That way you can jump right in and start, taking on the lessons of putting yourself in a position of being successful. All right. So who is this course for? This course is for a lot of different people, but usually these people break down into 4 different types or archetypes. First you got your entrepreneurs out there, right? Entrepreneurs who have a local business, who have a local service or a product, and they want more people to know about it. That way they can get, the leads and the sales that they deserve, especially if they're really good at what they do, right? So people use search engine optimization in order for them to achieve a low cost marketing solution for, driving traffic, leads, sales, so on and so forth, which I'll show you in a moment here. And then you got your solo entrepreneurs, people who, work straight from their laptops. They got an e-commerce brand, and, they're tired of spending their good money on advertisements without, getting a lot of results, without getting a lot of feedback on what they're doing. And so, if you're out there and you're spending a lot of money on Facebook ads or Instagram ads, and you're not getting a lot back from it, then maybe search engine optimization is another lane for you to take in order for you to achieve your results. Okay, I personally am not a big fan of ads, of social media ads, but I love search engine optimization because, like I said, it's low cost. You don't pay Google anything for this stuff, and they still send you just as much or even more traffic than Facebook or Instagram can, right? And then is those people who are seeking a more long-term, cost-efficient solution to driving traffic to their website. Like I just said before, there's people who are looking for short-term results, and so they spend a lot of money on ads. That way they can get, quick, direct feedback to their site. But again, you got to pay to play in those situations. So if you don't have a ton of money to be putting up for ads, just to test things out and see how it works, then you should definitely be looking for cost-efficient, long-term solutions like search engine optimization. Right. And then marketers, all the marketers out there who are looking to expand on their skill set, their knowledge in the digital marketing sector, this course is for you too. If you want to learn more about SEO, maybe you've been, in social media marketing, you've been in different types of digital marketing, but you haven't yet explored, what search engine optimization is all about. This course is for you as well. Okay. So who am I? Why listen to me? Why do I matter? I got 6 years in this game, man. I've been doing SEO since like really 2013, 2014. I was just self-taught. I initially worked with my family's business, helped them get started. And then, I just started, doing SEO more and more, developing my own websites, launching them, driving traffic to the website to sell affiliate products, to sell, e-commerce products, so on and so forth. And, eventually I started getting really good at this, and I wanted to dive deeper into how it all works. So I started working with agencies on exactly how I can improve my skill set in SEO, right? Because it's different from being an amateur. And when you're trying to go to the pros, you got to get that level of training that you need to get to the pros. So, that's what I also did as well. Like I said, 6 years overall in SEO, driving results for, hundreds of clients at this point. I manage well over 100 accounts or websites, and that's a fact. I can verify that. But overall, I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, so that's why you should listen to me. Am I the best SEO in the world? Of course not. I'm sure there's people out there who have that extreme technical knowledge that I definitely don't have as far as coding goes and things like that can definitely kick my ass. But, I'm somebody who's really good at what they do. And it's a fact that I'm way better than you at doing it. So you should definitely listen to me. But yeah, that's how it goes. Like I said, I started helping my family get their website traffic for their local service business. I'm self-taught and tested. Everything that I know, I've tested, and I had to get results from it to see if it actually worked or not. So, my elbows are in the mud in this case. And so right now I'm in the trenches, and that's what matters most, right? And lastly, I'm constantly learning. Like I said, I'm not the best in the world at this stuff. I do good results. I drive great results, but I'm constantly learning. I'm always trying to learn what the next thing is, how Google's algorithm is changing. What do I need to do next to adjust my strategy with some stuff that Google's putting out there that I need to know about? That way I can better serve my clients and better serve myself overall when it comes to search engines, right? So, that's who I am. I've been doing this for a little while now. If you don't believe me, there's a picture of me right there. We're working with an agency, all right? Moving on. Okay, so introduction to SEO. Search engine optimization is a process of improving your website's positions in organic search results for search engines like Google. The higher the website is, the more people see it. So let me kind of shoot you a quick example here, right? So if I go here and I type in, let's say, plumbers in Atlanta, GA, right? Now, if you're somebody who's looking for a plumber in Atlanta, then the first thing you're going to see here is this page, right? So, what you initially see first is the paid ads, which is here. You can see the ad there. And then you go into the organic search results, which is your maps and also the links that you see here, right? Most of you probably click the links that you see here. You're probably taught to never click on an ad while you're on the internet. And so you're not really checking for the stuff that's up top here, but you're definitely checking for what's going on here in your maps listing to see who's closest to you and, whatever's in here. So the whole purpose of it is to show relevant search results to people who are searching for what you have to offer. Now, how you get here is simply by, optimizing your site in a way into which Google can appreciate. That way, they can show you more often for, these keywords that are relevant to your business. All right, that's the gist of it. So, like I said before, it's all about, getting your website as high as you possibly can on the first page, for keywords that are relevant to your product or service, right? So the higher the website, the more people see it. That's called exposure. The cool part is, my favorite part about SEO is that you don't ever have to pay for this exposure. For advertisements, you got to pay for the exposure. You got to pay for that visibility. But when it comes to SEO, you pay Google absolutely nothing to drive traffic to your website. So it's essentially a free way for you to drive traffic to your website and get all the leads and sales that you could possibly want from just this one channel of marketing, right? If you're a smart person, you're using both social ads and SEO, but you got to know exactly how these are going to drive results for you. History of SEO dates back to the 90s when search engines emerged for the first time. Back when Google just got started and all these Yahoo and all these other and MSN and AOL and all those other search engines came out. Ever since that started to come about, people have been trying to figure out how they can get their website shown on these search engines, right? And there's plenty of movies out there about that. You can check it out. But nowadays, it's an essential marketing strategy and an ever-growing industry. Search engines aren't going anywhere. In fact, they continue to dominate our lives more and more with the years that pass. Initially it was Google. Whenever you're searching for anything, Google has dominated their industry so much that they branded Google as a way to search something. So whenever you want to find something, you say Google it, right? That gives you an idea about how powerful Google is right now and why you need to make sure that your website is shown on their search engine for the keywords that are relevant to your business. Okay, they're huge. They continue to grow. Then later on down the line, Amazon exploded, right? So it went from Google to Amazon exploded. Amazon in and of itself is one big search engine. Their website is just one big search engine. And if you understand how search engine optimization works, you can optimize your products page on Amazon to show up on the first page, right? You see how that goes. You got to be on the first page for Amazon because nobody's checking for that second and third page. Everything that they need is already on the first page. So by you understanding search engines, you're actually putting yourself in a prime opportunity to be able to create leads and sales that you wouldn't have been able to do through social alone, right? So it's an essential marketing strategy One of the things that I like people to keep in mind is results don't come quickly. You know, the more competitive the market, the longer it takes for you to see results. Just like, you know, being on Amazon, you know, if your product don't have 1,000 reviews already, you're going to have to start from the bottom and work your way up. Same thing with, you know, search engines in general. If you don't have, you know, that power yet, you don't got that clout yet, you got to start from the bottom and work your way up. And there's ways of doing that. And I'm going to show you that in this course definitely. But, you know, just keep that in mind. Like I said, however, you know, the quicker you implement the right practices, the quicker your rankings will grow. Like I said before, the higher the website is, the more people that see it. So, you know, the quicker you get moving, the quicker you start putting things in place, you'll definitely start to see some traction, some growth, and how you rank for different types of keywords, right? So just keep that in mind. And also know that, you know, nothing is promised when it comes to SEO, right? You could be doing everything right and still not get your way. You know, a lot of people don't understand that. They think as soon as you do something, you should see instantaneous results. Like I said before, the results don't always come quickly, especially if it's competitive. But, you know, stay down, you know, continue to hustle, and I'm sure you're going to see the results that you're looking for, you know, over the course of the weeks, months, however long you're practicing SEO. Okay. And so let's get more specific about SEO. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Shout out to Moz on this. Moz is another source where you can learn more about search engine optimization. Like I said before, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And that's really important to me because, you know, you can learn more about SEO all over the internet. You can just Google, you know, learn SEO and you'll find, you know, multiple different resources. So thank you so much for choosing me to teach you SEO. But like I said before, I'm always improving. So I get my information from everybody, not just from myself and what I've tested. I read everybody's stuff, right? But this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I love this diagram because it defines exactly, you know, how search engines work and what the most important things are when it comes to search engines. And I'm going to go deeper into that later on in this course, but I wanted to kind of break this down for you real quick, right? So we got this pyramid, right? And then right next to this pyramid are these arrows. And starting from the bottom of this pyramid, you know, these principles here are essential to rankings, right? So crawl accessibility, compelling content, keyword optimization, stuff like that are essential to rankings when it comes to SEO, right? And then as you go up this ladder here, this pyramid, these other principles improve your competitiveness within search engine results pages, right? So starting from the bottom, crawl accessibility. Search engines need to be able to reach and index your website's content. And so that is a foundation for, you know, even being able to get on search engine results pages like Google, right? Next is compelling content. You have to have content that answers, you know, your searchers' questions or queries or, you know, needs, right? So you got to make sure that you're creating content based on the keywords that people are using to find the stuff that you sell or provide, right? And then next is keyword optimization. You have to make sure your keywords are optimized to attract searchers and search engines, right? And that just means you sprinkle these specific keywords that get a lot of attention, a lot of volume throughout your content. That way, you know, not just your user identifies with what they're looking for, but the search engines know exactly what the topic is about. And so they can rank you higher, you know, on Google in general, because they understand that this is what, you know, the content is all about. And this is what this page is all about. Like I said before, we're going to go more in depth on all this later on in the course, but you just got to understand the basics first, right? And then next, as we go up higher a little bit on the pyramid, is great user experience. Everybody likes a fast website. Everybody likes a website that's easy to use. You probably have experience yourself with landing on a website that was taking mad long to load. It took like 5-10 seconds to load, and then when it loaded, you didn't even know where to go because, you know, things were everywhere. There was no clear directions. It didn't seem like, you know, you landed on a page that you were asking for or that could solve the issue that you were trying to solve, right? And so that has to do with great user experience. The better your user experience is on your website, the more clear directions you have the more quickly your website loads, the easier to use on any kind of device, especially mobile devices. Definitely makes you a lot more competitive than everyone else who's not paying attention to this stuff, right? People who think they could just set up a website and then that's when things start happening. No, you gotta care for the website. You gotta make sure everybody appreciates the website. You gotta make sure that it's functioning in a way that it needs to function to serve your target market, right? So great user experience. And then next is share worthy content, content that earns links, citations, and amplification or visibility is really just all about, like the bottom of the pyramid says, compelling content, create compelling content. It's really all about creating content that's worth linking to, right? So other websites are going to talk about you as well, the better you get at this stuff. And you just want to make sure that, what you're creating here is of worth. And then citations are just local business listings. The more local business listings that you fill out, the more links that you get back to your website, the more Google sees like, yo, other people are talking about this website. Let me show them more often because they're getting that social proof. They're getting that validation that they need that lets me know that they're a good website to show. So that's what it's all about, getting websites to talk back about you. You can do that by setting up a link profile, a Yelp profile, Google My Business listing, all those business listings that are online, you need to be on them. I don't care if it's Foursquare or 4chan, you need to make sure that your website is on as many of these pages as possible, especially if people are looking for the things that you're doing outside of search engines, right? So a lot of people go to like these dining review sites or Yelp or these other review sites like Angie's List and stuff like that. If that is your market, you need to make sure you got a profile set up there linking back to your website, right? And then these next two really have to do with what people see on the search engine results pages itself. So title and URL description, I'll show you that in a second. That's just making your title and description on search engine results pages more attractive. That way people could click on it and things like that. And then snippet, schema markup, that just pretty much means setting up your website in a way, you can be featured in a unique way on search engine results pages like Google. So let me give you a quick, snapshot of those last two things, title and URL and snippet schema markup, right? So if I go here, you can see what's called a meta title and a meta description. That's what we're talking about here. It's this as the title, and then the next thing up is the description, right? So now Yelp's description is super ugly. What the search engine does is just pulls content off of a certain page, based on the types of keywords that I search in. So you can see in bold here in this description, because it has these keywords in here, they're giving me that as a result. Right now, you definitely don't want to put this many keywords in here. Just once is more than enough. But this is something that improves your competitiveness within search. So now, when most people see this, they're not going to click it because A, everyone already understands Yelp, and B, this description is not really providing them with clear detail on what they're looking for. Right. So most people will probably just continue swiping or continue scrolling until they find something that works for them. But again, you can see these guys, they have a clear description laid out: plumbing, expert plumbers in Atlanta, plumbing installation, maintenance, and repair in Atlanta. Plumbing system in your house is one of the most blah, blah, blah. So they have a description here that lets the user know, hey, we do exactly what you're searching for. And so that's one of the things that improves your competitiveness within search, right? So, and going into that stuff, there's a hierarchy of needs. Like I said before, when you're just starting out, you definitely want to focus on the basics, which is these bottom three here: keyword optimization, compelling content, and crawl accessibility. That is really the 80%. I mean, that's really the 20% that drives 80% of the results. Then, as you get higher into the specifics here, it improves your competitiveness. But you definitely got to have these three things down. Okay. So, moving on to the next slide. If you want to learn SEO, you got to be ready for a lot of creative, technical, and analytical work. Like all great things, they must be worked and improved upon. And so, SEO is very simple. It's very easy to understand. It gets a little bit more difficult to actually pull off because if you're not a writer, if you're not a coder, if you don't understand how to look at data, then you're going to have some trouble with accomplishing the goals that you want through search engine optimization. But the blessing of the world is that we're already connected to all of these people with us now. So if you're not a writer yourself, if you don't know how to write content, then you could always hire people to write the content for you on your website. It's that easy. If you don't know anything about coding or about how to make your website faster, then you need to hire a developer to go ahead and do that for you. But the great thing is that these are all very inexpensive things that you can accomplish for less than $1,000, literally. And you can have all these things put in place for you without having to do all the backbreaking work yourself. But you got to understand these principles and what it takes to be successful in search engine optimization. So, like I said, creative skills, technical understanding, and an analytical brain for understanding how data works or what the data means is really going to help you be successful in SEO. There are many techniques with different goals. However, the main point is the same: to be among the highest results in organic searches. Like I just showed you, if you're up there with Yelp, if you're up there with Angie's List, you're definitely going to get a lot of traffic to your website. You're going to get a lot of leads, phone calls, etc. Oftentimes, when people are looking for something very specific, they usually skip through Yelp and they skip through Angie's List, not because they don't like those sites, but they're trying to speak to somebody who can help them directly. So a lot of these review sites can help point you in the right direction, but at the end of the day, people still have to do all the research themselves to find out who they're going to work with. So if you're a direct website available right then and there, they're more likely to reach out to you than to go to Yelp or through Angie's List some of the time, right? Obviously, these review sites are helpful in some sort of research fashion. Okay, so simply said, SEO is about running the right website for the right people, understanding, yourself as a business and what you have to offer, and then understand who your target market is, and understanding what questions that they have, what solutions they need, and understanding exactly how their brain works as far as them being able to reach out to you. Is going to be key for you overall. So running the right website for the right people is really what SEO is all about. It isn't only about a perfect structure or technical background of the website. Your website has to be filled with quality and well optimized content tailored to the needs of your audience, like I just mentioned. And of course, it has to be good enough to be linked from other websites. So you pop in when other people are talking about you, right? Same thing when it comes to SEO, when it comes to these are all just like clickish. Like, think of Google as the club, right? And they got 10 VIPs, which is the first page, right? And if you're not popping, you're not going to be one of those 10 VIPs that they have pull up there, right? So you got to have people already talking about you. That way you can get into the VIP section with no problems at all. Google works the same way, So the way you do that, like I said, is just by having a link from one website to the other website. It's from a link from one website to your website. That's really all it is. That's how other websites talk about you. So, you got to stay popping, right? So like I said, Google's like a club. If you're going to get into one of the 10 VIP sections, then you got to have your name buzzing. You got to have other websites talking about you. And there's an easy way to hack this. There's an easy way to do this, which I'm going to show you in this course as well. But just keep that in mind, right? Because at the end of the day, Google is all about showing the best content. They only want to show the very best search results for any given query, right? And the way to do this, the way they have to understand how to do this is by understanding, where are the qualified individuals, who's talking about who has the best content, and that's how they decipher exactly who they're going to show on the first page, right? So, with all that said, I can understand how SEO can seem hard now, after knowing that you're going to have some creative knowledge, you're going to have some technical knowledge, you're going to have some analytical knowledge, and so is SEO hard? Search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, and others index websites in order to create an order based on ranking algorithms, right? So these are all systems. These search engines are based on algorithms, and that's how they operate. Now, not everyone knows exactly. Actually, I don't think anybody knows exactly how these algorithms work. They're really just one big AI system, right? And we can't exactly identify all of these ranking algorithms. Not even as an SEO. I don't care if you've been doing it for 20 years, 30 years, whatever. I don't care if you was been doing this since the dinosaurs. Not everybody knows all the ranking algorithms. It's really a trial and error sort of thing that we've come to do as SEOs to really understand what Google is looking for. That way we can optimize our websites for those specific ranking factors, right? So Google uses more than 200 ranking factors. There's a criteria of like 200 different things on how they decide who are they going to show on the first page, who are they going to show on the second page, who are they going to show on the third, all that stuff, right? So they're looking at your website and they're judging your website based on this criteria. Now, some criteria is more important than others for sure, but our jobs, as far as doing search engine optimization, is making sure that we're covering as many corners as possible, starting with the most relevant ranking factors, and then going out from there. Right? So like I said, we know many of them. We know quality content works. We know backlinking works. Like I said, backlinking is when one website links back to your website, especially when it's a high quality website that's linking back to you, right? And then technical things such as site speed. There are many of them that are kept a secret. Like I said, most ranking factors, nobody even know what it is. So it's a situation where, when it comes to search engine optimization, it's been, a couple of decades, 3 decades of trial and error. Like, remember, this shit just started in the 90s. So it's really just been a process of trial and error as the ranking algorithm improves and Google starts looking for more relevant things. We shift our strategy along with that, right? And so there are algorithm updates all the time, every year, but we're adapting our SEO strategy based on how much more are we understanding of the algorithm. So of course, like I said, you don't need to know all the ranking factors to rank your website. I don't know all the ranking factors, and I probably will never know all the ranking factors. To understand what SEO is about, imagine a bowl of soup, right? And I'm going to show you this really cool diagram that I got from another website that really sums up what I'm saying here. So there are 3 major keys to SEO, right? I'm going to show you the diagram in a second, but first I want to break down, these 3 major keys. That way we understand, not just what SEO is, but how it should be done, right? So there are 3 major keys you got to pay attention to. These are core pieces of my strategy. Anytime I take on a client, anytime I'm doing something for myself, I always keep these 3 major keys in mind. The bowl, right? The bowl is the foundation of it all. You can't have soup without a bowl, right? So you got to have the bowl down first. The bowl is the technical stuff behind the website. It's the coding. It's the on-page optimization. It's the load speeds. It's the fact that your phone can be used. I mean, your website can be used right from a phone really easily. These are the technical stuff that Google definitely appreciates from a website, right? And that's the foundation of having a good website. Is making sure that it loads quickly. It's making sure that it's really easy to use on mobile phones, right? And also it's very easy to use as far as being able to get to the pages that people need to get to. We're going to talk about that more, of course. But without proper bowl, the soup will spill all over the table, right? So the soup, what's the soup? The soup represents the content of your website. It's the most important part. No soup, no content, right? Bad content equals no rankings. If you got bad soup, throw the whole bowl away because we're not eating that, right? So soup represents the content of your website. The better the soup, the more eyeballs it gets, right? Think of it that way. The better you make this soup, the more people are going to eat it, right? And that just goes with anything in life. So just understand that part. And like I said, I'm going to break this down a little bit more in the next slide. And then the third is the seasoning. The seasoning represents the quality backlinks, the links from other websites that lead back to you, right? That's the seasoning of it all, right? And that's important because, we don't like eating ramen without the little packet, right? But we still need a bowl. We still need some ramen to even eat that packet, right? So at the end of the day, The seasoning is very important, and that's why you want to make sure other websites are talking about you, right? And that's the whole thing. Like French Montana said, right? If you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. It's the same thing. Except these sites aren't exactly haters, but if nobody's talking about you, then you're not popping. That's just how it goes down in anything. And it's the same thing for search engines. They're looking for people to talk about you. That way they can trust you to deliver valuable content to their users. See? Right on. Right. So here's the soup, right? Like I said, called SEO soup, right? And shout out to Mongols who definitely provided this diagram for me. Like I said, the technical stuff is the bowl. The soup is the good content. The content is all about answering people's questions, understanding your market, understanding what those questions are that they're asking and seeking solutions for, and then creating content that answers those questions. And that's how you get Google to show you on the first page, especially if you make really good content. Then, like I said, the seasoning is the quality backlinks. How many reputable websites do you have talking about you? Do you have your business listing set up all across? Do you have bloggers talking about you, right? You got to make sure you have these things in line. That way, Google's more willing to show you on the first page of search engine results pages. So, technical stuff, your coding, how fast is your website? Can it be used on a mobile phone? Good content. Are you answering people's questions? Are you doing it in a structured way? Is it really easy to understand your content? And then backlinks, how many people are talking about you? Do you have your business listings? Do you have blogs talking about you? Stuff like that, right? So that's your SEO soup. Those are the three main qualities that you want to have to being able to get on the first page of Google, right? And of course, this gets more technical and more detailed as we go along, but that's your basic foundation right there. That's what I want you to understand in this section of the course. Okay, so with that understood, here's why every business needs SEO. Search engines are used by internet users when they are searching for something, and you want to be that something. It doesn't matter if you sell a product, service, blog, anything else. Search engine optimization is a must. That's why I say I don't care what you sell. I don't care if you got a local business where you serve people around you, or if you have a local product you serve people around you. You got to be on the internet. You got to be on Google. If you're not fighting to get on Google, then you're wasting your time, because at the end of the day, if you're relying on social media to bring in all the traffic on your website, we already know what putting all your eggs in one basket is going to do, right? It's going to eventually break all the eggs. So you got to be able to diversify your marketing strategy here. And search engine optimization is a truly viable and a very, very powerful marketing strategy to making sure you grow your business. Okay, so your website needs to be indexed by search engines, otherwise you're lost. If people can't find you when they're searching for the stuff that you have to offer, then you're lost, because if the only way they can find you is through social media or through a referral of a friend, then you're already putting yourself in a very obscure position. And so you need to make sure you have that visibility. You need to make sure you have that exposure. And the best way to get that visibility and exposure is to be ranked on the #1 website in the world. That's Google. Come on, let's go. You already know that. The first thing you do when you're looking for something is you Google it. I don't care if you go to Google. I don't care if you go to Amazon. The first thing that you do when you're looking for something is you search for it, right? And so you need to make sure that your website's visible for that kind of searchability, right? So SEO techniques improve your rankings on the search engine results page, like I just showed you. Higher rankings mean higher traffic. If you're on the first page, you're getting all the traffic. If you're on the second and third page, you're getting very, very little traffic. The best place to hide a dead body is on the second page of Google. That's what I tell people, because nobody goes there. If you want to hide it, put it there, because nobody cares about the second page. It's all about the first page. And so these strategies are designed to get you on the first page, like I said before. All right, so to sum it up, if you plan to succeed with your website, you need to do SEO. Some aspects are more complicated than others, but very often the SEO success stands on common sense and a few best practices. Like I showed you before, a few best practices, this is it. Have a really good technical website, good load speed, good mobile friendliness, right? And then you create good content. The content is based on what other people are searching for around your product or service, and answering those questions that they're asking on your website. That way, they're more likely to convert because you're now building that trust factor. You're now helping them solve the issues of their life, right? And then lastly, making sure that other websites are talking about you, right? If you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. If no other websites are talking about you, then you need to fix that. And you can do that by signing up for all the local business listings and the local business directories. Get on Yelp, get on Google My Business, get on as much of these local directories as you can in relevance to your business. And also seek out the possibility of local bloggers or other blogs talking about you. Blogs do this all the time. They're used to people reaching out to them and asking them for a backlink, especially from me. So you need to make sure that you just need to make sure that you got other websites talking about you. If you don't feel comfortable reaching out to bloggers, just make sure you got 50 to 100 online business listings signed up already for your website, linking back to them, right? So that's the sauce right there. That's the juice. You want to make sure you got those three things right there, right? So how can you learn SEO? Even basic changes to your website make a huge difference in how search engines see your website, especially when it comes to crawlability. Most of my clients that come aboard, their biggest problem is usually crawlability. Google can't even access their website for them to be able to even show up on the search engine. And you fix that by doing a few particular things, like I'll show you. But in this guide, like I said before, we'll cover all the critical topics and the SEO basics. You'll gain enough knowledge to proceed with SEO on your own. That's my goal by the end of this course, is to make sure that you have the knowledge that you need to just do the basics, and see what comes of that, right? So if you wonder how to learn SEO in 2020, we have a simple answer for you. You'll need a lot of study and practice. That's the biggest thing. This is a stepping stone. This course, this beginner's guide, is a stepping stone for you to be able to expand more into SEO, right? And there's a lot of different resources all over the internet for you to continue your education, right? And so you'll need a lot of study and practice. If you don't have a website to practice on, like if you're somebody who's looking for a new career in this field, or if you want to work with an agency and you don't have anywhere to practice, then set up your own website, right? So you would just set up your own website and figure out, what are the keywords that you would need to get this website moving. Like, so for example, I usually tell people, like, if you want to start off easy with SEO, you can do it locally, right? You can set up a website for, a niche type of service where there isn't a lot of competition for, and you can create a website based on that, get leads, get the leads, get the rankings, get the leads for that website. Then you could take the leads and sell them to other companies like that. Like, so for example, for like security cameras, right? If you install security cameras, well, maybe if you're not, you can set up a website for security camera installation, right? And you can get all the leads and all the traffic for that website and sell them back to other local security camera installation companies around you, right? So you can set up a website that provides as much information possible about security camera installation in your local area, and you could take that traffic and those leads and sell them back to other companies. That way, A, you're learning a lot more about SEO, and then B, you're actually getting paid to do so, because now you have something valuable to offer to other businesses in the area. And that's how I initially got started, was just being able to set up a website, optimize it for search engines, and then, when they see that traffic come in, when they see those leads come in, they're more likely to keep paying you for that, because you're actually providing something of value to them, right? So that's how you can get your practice in. But of course, get your study in, continue to grind, continue to practice. If you're someone who already has a website, if you already have a business, you're going to have to do the same thing, but you already have somewhere to practice. You have your own website to focus on. And so you'll be able to, do a lot of trial and error and like work out what's going to work best for you, especially when it comes to content. And you'll have the opportunity, like I said, to continue doing your study and implement what you study into your website. So that's good. The good thing is you'll find tons of information on the internet for free, like I just said, but choose wisely. Of course, you don't want to learn martial arts from just anybody. Same thing with SEO. You want to watch who you learn it from. That's why I'm somebody who that I pride myself on being on somebody who's not just self-taught, but also, I've tried everything. I've done it, and I'm here to provide that information to everyone here. And so that's the main thing. I'm really happy about that because not everyone is willing to share true knowledge with you. Some people are scamming, some people are not experienced enough, but they're just trying to look good. And so I pride myself on being somebody that actually put in the work. And so that's what's up. You know what I mean? On top of that, you can get courses, classes, webinars. These are all things that I'm starting to provide myself. But after this course, you want to continue expanding your knowledge, right? So make sure you do that. Yeah. So like I showed you before, this is Maslow's hierarchy of SEO needs, right? And everything that I showed you previously is aligned with one of those three strategies, whether it's technical, whether it's content, and whether it's backlinks, right? So you can see here, technical SEO is the foundation of search engine optimization in general. Pro accessibility is huge. When I say on-page SEO, that means on your website's page. That has a lot to do with content. So technical, then there's on page, and then there's on page again as far as having compelling content and making sure that content is keyword optimized. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. But as you can see here, your content and your technical, the bowl in the soup, is what comes first in SEO, and that's what you should definitely focus on improving on. And then right after that, it's a great user experience, load speed, being able to use it on any device. That's all technical stuff, and so that's key right there. And off-page SEO has to do with backlinks, like I said before, earning links and building out those business listing pages leading back to your website. It's going to definitely help you a lot in getting ranked. And then right above you is on-page SEO again. That meta title and description that I showed you on the search engine results page. It's definitely going to do a lot for you as far as making sure you're well optimized. And then lastly, the tip of the pyramid ends in technical SEO, which I'm not surprised because it begins there. And so that's understanding, how you can, take up more real estate on these search engine results pages. You're going to learn more about schema markups in another course and a more advanced course. But for right now, in this beginner's course, we're focused on the key basics here, which is technical SEO, crawl accessibility, creating good content, and making sure that content is well keyword optimized. Okay. And so that's the end of this intro. I hope you got some valuable information from this. We're going to pick this back up again with SEO mindset. We're going to understand some basic principles to understand before we get into the tactics, right? Because you got to understand the mind before you can understand the body. So with that being said, thank you again. I look forward to seeing you guys soon.